What's up, EV Clan, and welcome back to the Pokemon Red and Blue Randomizer Nuzlocke, where in today's episode, we are continuing on through our trek through Mount Moon. And in the last episode, if you missed it, please go back and watch it. I'm sure you would not regret doing so. My commentary was on fire last episode, if I do say so myself. Speaking of fire, here is a Ponyta. You know, I gotta say, not a big fan of, like, original Ponyta, because, like I said, Gen 1 fire types are really not my thing. I think a lot of them are, like, not very creative. Because it's like, okay, you got a fox, Ninetales, you got, like, the Vulpix line, you got a fox, Growlithe line, you got a dog, Ponyta line, you got a horse, and then Magmar, I don't even know what it is, but it's just, like, arbitrary fire creature. Like, I just don't think the fire type Gen 1 fire type designs are that interesting at all. Although I will say, Rapidash's shiny is very cool. I do like how it's like gray fire, so it looks like smoke. And then Ponyta's is really good too. I know that some people don't really like Rapidash's one, and they think that Ponyta's was better. I can go either way personally. Like, the blue flame is cool, but like also just the smoke that looks, the fire that's like gray that looks like smoke is pretty cool as well. And I gotta say, I was pretty, I'm not a big fan of, like, the Ponyta line, like I said. Like, not my favorite. They're okay. But, like, the Galarian Ponyta line, like I said, Galarian forms, not my thing. However, I will say Galarian Ponyta line is A tier. Fantastic. Because it's just like, I don't know, you think of unicorns, and you think, like, fairy type. And I think that they're probably fairy type. I think that they're fairy type, but I think they are primarily psychic. Or if not, they're psychic as well. And I don't think, like, people don't typically think about, like, unicorns and having, like, psychic abilities, you know? Normally it's like, oh, they shoot rainbows out of their butt, or something like that. But, like, I don't know, just, like, a psychic unicorn is, like, really cool. The idea of just, like, this unicorn, it's like, it's got, like, got, like, the purple mane, and then it, like, glows with psychic power. It's like this, imagine just, like, a unicorn comes up to you and, like, picks you up with telekinesis. Like, that's so cool. I really like just the telekinetic unicorn. I think that that's awesome. Also, another Sword and Shield design that I really like is, like, the Hatenna line. Hatenna. Because I'm not a big fan of Hatchrim, personally, but I do like how in this Pokédex entry it talks about, like, how people, when they experience harsh emotions, it, like, hits them, because that's so funny. It's like, why on earth would that be a thing? But it is really funny. It's also, it's like, you know, the Oddish Pokédex entry, where it's like, if you take it out of the ground thinking it's a weed, it will scream. It's another one of those Pokédex entries where it's like, I don't know why, I don't understand why it would do that, but that's funny. I mean, to be fair, if someone pulled you out of the ground by your hair, effectively, you would probably scream, right? Like, I shouldn't be that confused by the fact that Oddish screams when it gets pulled out of the ground. It's just like, it's such a random Pokédex entry in my opinion. It's like, it's so obvious. So it feels just weird that would be a Pokédex entry. It's like, why do you need to tell me the thing would scream? Of course it would scream. It's like, why wouldn't it do that? Frankly, the fact that you're drawing attention to it makes it strange. It's like, okay, yeah, if I got pulled out of the ground, I would probably scream too. Doesn't mean that's, like, the defining point of my character. It's like, out of all the things you could have mentioned about Oddish, why is that the Pokédex entry? But anyway, I think that the Hatchrim thing about the emotion is funny, but Hatchrim's design I'm just not a big fan of. It really weirds me out, honestly. How it's like, it stands on, like, these things that are, like, parts of its hat, and then the rest of its body is, like, really tiny. Like, it's a tiny little dude with a big old hat. And it's an interesting design, definitely. I won't say it's not creative, but it is a bit weird. I do think Hatenna is, like, full-on cute, though. Like, it's like little dude. Little dude can't see because he's got a hat over his head. It's funny. It's really cute. And, I mean, realistic. It's just like, I love how, like, I like the baby colors. It's like a baby blue type of thing with like the hair and stuff. I like just the pale baby colors that they use for Hatenna and like Hatchram. I guess like it fits better with Hatenna, like just to cutesify it, cute it up. I guess cute it up. It's kind of a weird expression, weird way of saying it. And then of course, I had Hatterene on my main team in Sword and Shield. So of course I love Hatterene, and the G-Max form is pretty cool too. That it's like a princess trapped in a tower. That's cool, like a good old-fashioned fairy tales. Because after all, like it is the Galar region is based off of like Britain, so it does make sense that there'd be like castles, like stuff relating to like fairy tales, because that is like a very British thing, you know, like all these fairy tales where it's like, oh yeah, this princess grew up in a castle and then she pricked her finger on the spindle and then she fell asleep or something. It's like, you know, fairy tales are very like British oriented, I feel, so it makes sense that they'd have like Pokemon that reference fairy tales. And then it's just cool that it has like G-Max Smite, because then it's just like G-Max Smite is really cool because it just like summons lightning down from the sky. G-Max moves are really cool. Like Dynamax is meh, and frankly, but I think that it would be way more awesome if there were just more moves. And like G-Max moves are fine. I like the idea of like G-Max Pokemon having their own moves, since they are like hard forms to get, you know. But like the Dynamax, the way that like every Pokemon Dynamaxes and like every fire type move becomes the same Dynamax move, and every electric type move becomes the same Dynamax move, it just like, I'm not a fan of it. And I don't think I was a big fan of it in like Sun and Moon with like Z moves either. I do love like the fact that like Z moves got like certain Z moves became like Z versions of that move rather than just like certain moves became like versions of that move that were like Z, which were like, those were like the status moves. I wish that frankly that was a thing with like more of the moves, because while all the Z moves were very cool, it is just like disappointing that there wasn't a bigger variety. Like I don't like that with it's the same thing with Dynamax moves and Z moves that I don't like, and it's just that like every move becomes one move. Like every move of a type becomes the same move. Like it doesn't matter what normal type move you're going for or what it does, it will always become Breakneck Blitz. It does, like, it's just because it just doesn't make a lot of sense that like, oh, if this Pokemon this Pokemon's move that is nothing like this Z move translates to that Z move because it's just that type. I don't know. I just wish that there were like different ones. Like it doesn't have to be like different for every move, but if there was like different selections, different types of them, like if there was like special, if there was like, oh, here's the special Z move for this type, here's the physical Z move for this type, I think that would add a lot more to it. I think that would make it a lot more interesting. But maybe, hey, maybe that's what am I even saying? Maybe that's just asking too much. I do like the idea behind Z crystals, because it's like, oh yeah, the badges do something in this game, and they do things in the old games, I think, because they like boost certain stats. There's the badge boost that you get. I think that might only be Gen 1. It could be Gen 2 as well. Maybe it's even Gen 3, but I'm not sure about that. Badge boost definitely doesn't exist anymore, though. That's what I'm certain of. But yeah, I guess just like, I'm happy that in Sun and Moon the badges actually do something. Like, it's not badges, it's Z crystals, and Z crystals can actually be equipped to your Pokemon. Like, that's an interesting idea. But Z crystals are just like, Like, Z moves are mechanically just very annoying. I think Sun and Moon's competitive is like really messed up, because it does give every Pokemon an ability to pull off like a really powerful move. But then again, it's like, it's a matter of just like, I don't know. I feel like having Z moves messes with the competitive so much, because random Pokemon could just pull out 200 base power. And it's like, okay. Like, it's just a whole other element. And especially that on top of Megas. It's like, by Gen 7 competitive sounds stupid, like obnoxious to deal with. Because you have like at this point, you have like, you have to think about Z moves, and you have to think about Megas, and you have to think about like all these held items, and it just sounds annoying. It's like Gen 7 competitive just sounds really annoying. And like, I imagine that it just sounds tough to play around like Megas and Z moves. And then it's like, because it's like, okay, you can only have one you can only Mega once, and you can only use one Z move per battle, because they're both very powerful things. But if you have both, then you could do both of those once, and then that's like 2 super powerful things that you're able to do. It's just like, it's so crazy to me that they decided to put those both in the same game. I mean, I guess, why wouldn't they? But now you look back on it, and it's like, well, we didn't have Megas and Dynamax forms in the same game. But it's like, I don't know. I think that Megas and Z moves, having Megas and Z moves wasn't, in the same game, wasn't absolutely terrible. It's just something you have to learn to play around. But, like, I think that by Sword and Shield, it was really smart of them to just stop it. Like, stop it here. And that there is, like, with National Dex, too, was, like, Sword and Shield. By Sword and Shield, the Pokedex is getting so big. Like, there are so many Pokemon out there. National Dex, I know that people were really mad about National Dex being removed, but, hold on a second. We're pulling a big job here! Get lost, kid! I remember your dialogue. I actually remember you. You were the one who did me in last time, aren't you? And you have a Magikarp this time. Anyway, I think that, like, people were really mad about, National Dex not being in Sword and Shield, and then, like, it disappearing from then on. But, like, it had to happen at some point. Like, it was just getting to the point where there were too many Pokemon. And honestly, I don't really care a whole lot. It's like, I get, if your Pokemon was not in the next game, was not in Sword and Shield, and you were mad, and so you were mad about National Dex not being a thing. I get it. I feel for you, but at the same time, there's getting to be so many Pokemon where I feel it's outlandish to think they should include every single Pokemon. And really, it's not a big deal to me when the regional dex is so big. It's like, because to me, I'm just like, I really don't go out of my way with any particular game to get National Dex. And I feel like it's just like, I don't know. I don't think that the entire National Dex needs to be in just so that one person can get their favorite Pokemon. Like, it's like, think of it from that perspective, I think, and you'll start to see like why it was removed. Is because why National Dex is no longer a thing. It's because like every person has a favorite Pokemon, and then like there's always a chance that your favorite Pokemon just won't be in the game. But like doing all that work so that everyone can have their favorite Pokemon is like, I would rather that not be a thing. I would rather them not put National Dex in if it means it's going to like extend the games like, they can use that time. If they're not putting every single Pokemon in, they can use that time to create new stuff, you know? And it really doesn't matter to me, because then it's more of like a it's more exciting in that point, I think, because if not every Pokemon is getting in, because then you just get hype when you see which Pokemon are. And I think that's a really hype part about like Scarlet and Violet, like modern day Pokemon, because now National Dex is no longer a thing. So I'm playing through Scarlet and Violet and I'm like, oh my gosh, that Pokemon got in, and I get so excited. it's like, I think that was a massive part of Sword and Shield, because I don't know how early on they were like, we don't have national decks. There's no national decks, but I definitely think that there were like trailers to go before, before the game came out, like after they revealed that they wouldn't be having national decks. And like, even if, it's like, and then like Crown Tundra and Isle of Armor, it was so hyped to see like who they were adding back. And yeah, it's like, and yeah, people were angry because it's like, okay, they're just using DLC to squeeze money out of us because now they're adding back Pokemon that we could have had from the beginning. But I think it's really, I don't know, I don't mind it. I'd rather have like, it's cool to see them back, you know. I don't mind it as much as other people do, because really it was an inevitability. Like, eventually we were going to get to a point where there were just too many Pokemon. And I think that for the people who really want national decks, a lot of them wouldn't even be willing to complete it. Like, they just want their favorite Pokemon in. You know, they don't want national decks for the sake of having national decks. They want national decks for the sake of having these 1 or 2 Pokemon that they're upset weren't in the game. And in that case, wouldn't it be so much more hype to just be excited when they are in the next game? So yeah, that's generally my stance. But anyway, going back to Sword and Shield designs, I love the Squovet line. And I think that, mind you, I do love normal types, as I've said before. But I think that Squovet is truly, the Squovet line is like, especially the Route 1 normal types, I'm always a fan of. Like, I'd say the only exception to that is probably, hold on a second. Little kids should leave grown-ups alone. No, this is the guy. This is the guy who did me in last time. I remember you. I remember that voice line. What do you got this time? A Charmeleon? Oh, how the turns have tabled, my friend. Oh, how the turns have tabled. So anyway, I forgot what I was saying. I got carried away with the evil laugh, and I forgot where I was going with this. Oh yeah, so just like, I'd say the only Route 1 normal type that I'm not a fan of would be like, oddly enough, okay, the Yungoos line, I'm steamed! And oddly enough, the Bunnelby line, what you have to say for yourself now, bud. Pokemon lived here long before people came. I'm sure. I will say, I'm not a big fan of, like, the Bunnelby line, or the, Yungoos line. Yungoos, I don't think genuinely anybody likes the Yungoos line. Like, if you like the Yungoos line, if you can look at Gumshoes and be like, wow, that's an awesome Pokemon, then genuinely tell me in the comments, because, you might, I'd be so excited to find the only person. The only person on Earth who likes the Yungoos line. They're just so ugly. And, like, I don't understand the point of the Pokemon. Like, it really just feels like, it just looks so odd, and I don't get the design. I don't get what is to like about it. And they're just, like, not that strong. And, like, I get that Route 1 normal types aren't typically that strong. But when I love, like, Raticate so much, like, I look at Gumshoes and I'm like, what is this weird-looking, weak Pokemon here? And I'm not saying that Gumshoes, like, isn't strong. But it is not as strong as freaking Raticate. Raticate is my boy. I genuinely think that Raticate, like, beats out any other Route 1 normal type. Although I will say, I just do like all of them. Like, going through them, you have, like, okay, Rattata line. Amazing. Sentret line. Sentret, not my favorite, but Furret will always and forever be my boy. Other Pokemon can shout and shoot lasers from their mouth, but I can walk. They can walk. Furret is awesome. Team Rocket will find the fossils, revive, and sell them for cash. Ah, thank you for explaining your plan to me in classic villain fashion. But, yeah. Centret, not my favorite. Furret, though, A tier. Zigzagoon, as I've said, I like the Zigzagoon line a whole lot. Bidoof, I'm not a fan. Bidoof line, not a fan of Barrel, but like Bidoof is an obvious winner. What is Gen 5? Oh yeah, Patrat. I like Patrat. Watchog looks really stupid. Like, it's just a really dumb looking Pokemon. And it's not even like dumb in a funny way, in my opinion. It's just dumb in like a weird way. Like, get out of here. Like a get out of my apartment in a sort of, like in a get out of my apartment sort of way. Like, if I saw a Watchog in my house, I'd be like, get out. Why are you here? If I saw a Patrat in my house, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna cuddle you. But if I saw a Watchog in my house, I'd be like, why are you so elongated? Like, why is he built like a twig? Now I'm mad! That's ironically what I would say if I found a Watchog in my house. But sorry guys about the ringing phone next to my ear. That distracted me a little bit. Let me see if I can get my thoughts. Hold on. lost my train of thought here. Something about Watchog. Yeah, Watchog is just like, I don't know, he's got the same problem as like Blipbug. Hey, stop! I found these fossils. They're both mine. Okay, now you have to fight this guy to get the fossils. And I'm glad to be getting the fossils. That means I'm very close to the end of this cave, which is great because my Pokemon are starting to run out of stamina here. But yeah, it has the same problem. Watchog, in my opinion, has the same problem as Blipbug. And Blipbug is my least favorite Pokemon ever, by the way. Gen 8 designs, love Gen 8 designs, except for Blipbug. Blipbug can ride. Blipbug can, just die in a hole, alone. I don't like him. Maybe I don't like him out of insecurity, because he reminds me of he reminds me of myself. Reminds me of the nerdy aspects of myself. But oh my gosh, why do I keep doing that? Why did I just... Oh my gosh, bruh, why did I do that? I keep thinking I can check the summary before I search into it. I can't. Yeah, maybe it's just out of a feeling of, like, not wanting to be reminded of what I dislike about myself, but I really don't like his nerdy-looking, elongated face. I think that's what really gets me with Pokemon designs. Like, just when they're long, when they feel stretched. And Watchog and Blipbug had that same problem, just feeling stretched, and that's why I don't like them. Patrat, perfectly fine. And Patrat and Watchog, obviously, they are the same evolution line, so they are, like, fairly similar looking. So, it's not like the eyes that's throwing me off. It's not like the tail that's throwing me off, because they share that. What's throwing me off is just, like, I don't like how long he is. And I don't know why it bothers me, but it really does. Like, I just don't like when Pokemon look stretched. I don't like when designs in general look stretched. I think it might be, like, it could be as a result of, like, I don't know, just not feeling that something is off with it. Because my gosh, I just burped, sorry. Sometimes I feel like that happens, where you can't explain why, but something just feels off. And maybe it comes from, that's the root of the problem. Is that I look at these elongated Pokemon and I'm like, this looks off. It looks like it was, like, it looks like the image was stretched incorrectly, you know? It was stretched vertically but not horizontally. Like, something seems off about how just, like, long it is. Maybe that's why Blipbug's head bothers me so much, but Blipbug's head shape is just like, I hate it. I hate how long it is. Okay, I'll share. I hate how just elongated it is. Anyway, so let's get our fossil here. I'm gonna take Nope, I'm gonna take Helix, because, Twitch plays Pokemon! That's the one everyone likes. Alright, this is mine. Okay, so now we're out of here. And, so yeah, in summary, the normal types that I don't, the Route 1 normal types that I don't like, Route 1 normal type lines that I do not like are, I don't like, what were they again? Okay, I don't like Pat Rat line, I don't like, Bunnelby line, and I don't like Young Goose line. And if you do like Young Goose line, seriously, go talk to a psychiatrist about that, because, that's a real problem. I mean, I don't want me to tell you that your opinion is a problem, but, like, I honestly, please explain to me why, because if you do like Young Goose, then the Young Goose line, then I don't get it. And maybe, just maybe, you could convince me that Young Goose isn't that bad. But Gumshoes, get out of here. Like, if you like Young Goose, fine. I don't understand it, but maybe I can learn to. If you like Gumshoes, then I don't know what to say. I genuinely think that you need to see a psychiatrist. You got some problems to sort out if you like Gumshoes. Of course, guys, it's all a joke. I am joking. I definitely am not serious. You can like whatever Pokemon you like. I just don't get it. Yeah. Just Bunnelby is like so meh, in my opinion. And I hate to say it, since X and Y are my favorite games, I really do hate to say that, like, I dislike a evolution line from that game. But it's like, X and Y, in my opinion, has so many winners when it comes to design. Bunnelby is just not one of them. It's such a basic-looking bunny. And it's like, we already did bunnies. Bunnery and Lopunny is a perfectly good... Well, I shouldn't say perfectly good. It's a bunny evolution line that already exists, that is an already existing normal-type bunny evolution line. So why do we need another one? And in my opinion, Bunnelby is just worse than Bunnery in all aspects. It just looks stupid. He just looks ugly. I want to punt him across a field. Bunnery, I'm like, oh, she's so cute. Bunnelby, I'm like, get kicked in the face. How many potions do I have now? 10! I bought the perfect amount, somehow. But, yeah. I'll say, I guess I'll wrap up this episode here. Thank you so much for watching, EV Clan. I guess next time we might take on Cerulean Gym. Maybe? Level 21 are my Pokemon. I think that... Nah, I shouldn't take it on. I think I should wait till all my Pokemon are, like, at least level 22. So I guess I'll do, Nugget Bridge next. So, thank you all so much for watching, EV Clan, and this is Alex Espion, signing off.